So I'm going to do a video in real time here. So that's where the tank is. It's 20 to 9 in the morning on Sunday. So I'm going to keep this video rolling. Hopefully it won't replicate the fault that happened yesterday, but it consistently happened yesterday. So we'll see. I'm just going to sit the phone here and drive. Okay. So right now, there's the temperatures, 51 water, 26 oil. Okay. I'm just going to drive on my, like what would be considered a normal, just easy drive around. Nothing crazy. Tedious part of the video, so it's okay. So yesterday when I drove, it happened after probably, I'd say 6 minutes maybe. Okay, so we're still going now. Water's 71, oil's 30, and the water temp seems to go up very quickly to 90, and then it seems to sit at 90. Doesn't go above 90 until right at the end. Then it kind of jumps to 105, 106 almost instantaneously. There's no slow jump up. It just jumps up almost instantly. Now 78 on water, 34 on oil. Now we're 82 on water. Just sitting at the traffic light now. What's been happening is I don't see an increase in water temperature, and then all of a sudden the overheat comes on instantly. So it's doing exactly the same thing. So whatever's being getting replaced isn't fixing it. And yesterday when I checked, the water or the coolant was dripping down from approximately under the reservoir, the coolant reservoir, onto that heat shield, and then dropping down onto the exhaust flange, but under the reservoir in the top compartment there was no signs of any leak. So there's something behind that heat shield that is leaking, and I don't know if that's the problem and that's where it's losing pressure. Okay, so now we're up to 90 degrees on the water, 42 on the oil. Gets there fairly quickly within minutes. It's now 8:44 approximately. I've probably driven for, I don't know, 1.5 kilometers right now. And I've even tried it with the air conditioning on and with the air conditioning off, just to try and eliminate that out of the system, and it doesn't make a difference. So I'm now getting up to 80 kilometers an hour. Water temp's still on 90, oil temp's 42. So I'm not going to go on the motorway today because the motorway here around Coolum Beach, there's no shoulder. So if something happens, it's really dangerous to try and pull off and stop and let the engine cool down. So yesterday this was all okay up until this point. Now a few kilometers out of Coolum, water temp is still sitting on 90, as it does all the time pretty much. Oh, and the other thing I noticed too is that I do feel a gurgling. So when this does happen and I stop and I put my hand on top of the coolant reservoir, I do feel and hear a gurgling sound also. And I went online, and that is one of the symptoms of basically an airlock in the system. Going, still sitting on 90, oil temps 56, and it sounds like, and I don't know if I'm hearing this, but it sounds like I can hear a gurgling sound coming from this area, but I'm not sure if I'm just hearing that. But if I am, that is the coolant reservoir making that gurgling sound. It's very faint, and maybe it's not, I'm not 100% sure. I do hear it when I open the hood and go into the engine. And I also noticed that when I bring the car back after this fault appears, the fans are running full bore as hard as they can, which is not normal. It never normally does that. So obviously that's a symptom of the overheating, or maybe a sensor going wrong or something. I'm not quite sure, but I never normally hear those fans running hard after I've done just a little trip down the shops and they keep running for 10 minutes after the car's been shut down and the hood's open. Still going along, still 90 degrees now, 66 on the oil. I'm going to stop in a second before that over-temp light comes on. I'm going to pop the bonnet and I'm going to have a look at where that reservoir is, if it's gone over the max mark, because it was at the minimum mark. So we'll see if that's filled up. And if it's filled up, that might be an indication that because of that air pocket, the fluid is boiling and expanding into that coolant reservoir. So I'll stop now. I'll leave the car idling. So right now it's still on 90. But the fans are running full bore. And that's now gone all the way up. So now, this is what happens. It's still on 90. So there's obviously something wrong. Obviously something wrong. Oop, there it is. Jeez. So obviously I'm going to turn the engine off now. So the engine's off. Now the tank's gone from minimum to just over the max. Fans are running full bore. I can't tell if the engine is actually hot or not, but there it is, unfortunately. So there it is. I was driving for 5-10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes, and it came on just in 60k zones, in 180k zones, 60k zones. So I know you're doing your best, but something's obviously majorly wrong, or not, maybe not majorly wrong, but something's wrong and it's not being found. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is what I do all the time. I stop for a few minutes, or a minute or so, which I have. I start it back up. It says oil change. Go off that. Go off that. And warning's gone away. And so now I drive, and what typically happens, I don't know if it's a reset function or what, but I drive and I get half a kilometre, 1 kilometre, and it comes up again. Water temp still 90, oil temp 74. So I'll keep this on here so you can see it come up, because when I did this last time, all of a sudden that water temp jumped up to 105, 106, like almost instantly, and then I sat for a good 5 minutes to let it cool down. I'm going back up to an 80k zone now, coming back into Coolum. So now I've been driving for 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. Oh, there it is again. So now I'm going to pull over here and do the same thing again. So let's go have a look. There's nothing coming down onto that flange yet, but this is now all the way up to here. So this is filled up a lot more. Fans are running full bore. So again, I'll wait a minute or two, or not even that, and then I'll start it up again, and I'll be able to drive another kilometre or two, and the same thing will happen again. So I think that's enough.